So I am Betty graduate and presently I'm doing PGDM. And like I have an experience of around 4 years in Java, Spring Boot, and microservices. Presently, I'm working in IBM, and I have worked in live chatbot that is for Humana client, and there I have used technological stacks like Java, Spring Boot, microservices. In the cloud, like we have used Watson Assistant, and for deployment purpose, we have used OpenRedShift, and for versioning and all, and for maintaining the code, we have used GitHub, and for in the client side they have for UI they have used Angular and all those stuffs.
Okay.
That's all we have used. And presently, like from 2 months, I have been like in IBM. I am working as a DevOps engineer in the Anthem project. So there we are using Bitbucket and Bamboo and UC Deploy for those things. And till now, I'm working as a software developer only, and I have worked on FedEx Courier project or online vending machine project and United Airlines project also. This is all about myself.
Yeah, fine. So you said you worked Spring Boot, right? So start framework related questions first. Okay. So Spring Boot, yeah. Can you explain a Spring Boot internal flow, how it's working?
Normally in Spring Boot, when we are hitting the request to the discussion, and then it's going to the particular service logic or business logic.
Okay.
Then it's going to the down layer and it's giving us the output. So this is the flow basically.
Okay.
And there we are, application.properties file is there where we are mentioning all our properties and details. And there, even for example, we are using Docker. We can create one Docker file also. There we can provide all the configurations so that we can deploy in the Docker Hub, all those things.
Okay.
And so this is all about the configurations. And whatever the tools we are using, we can provide the configurations and customize configurations in the application.yaml or .properties file, whatever we are using. Like if we want to use one JMeter or we want to use one Swagger API, so it's user ID, password, all those things we can provide in that application.properties file. And then in pom.xml, all the dependencies are available. Then in case of one main class is there, which is annotated by using Spring Boot application annotations. There, if for example, enable auto configuration is there, which will automatically configure the things for these whatever the dependencies we have mentioned. If for example we want to disable the things, we can use exclude there with the parameter, and then it will go to the controller. Then there at the rest controller is there, and there we can use at the rest mapping. And there are in Spring Boot for different tools, there are so many annotations. For example, if I'm using Mockito for testing purpose, then there we can create one class. There we can write @run with, and there we can use @mock bin, and there we can provide asset.equals, and then we can check. Likewise, annotations are available for Swagger @API model property is available. So enable Swagger is available. And if for example for security we want the and for auto wiring auto wire annotation is available in Spring Boot applications. Repository for DAO, all those things for maintaining those things, it's available. For service business logic to work on that service annotation is there. Previously what happened, Spring MVC was there. So there we have to provide lots of code and configuration. So because of the Spring Boot came, and there very less code it we have to mention. And like if we are using AutoWare, internally dependency IOC container handle all those things actually.
Okay.
And it's very easy for us. Yeah, so all the things we can do in Spring Boot. So basically.
So in the pom.xml, so what's the dependency like Spring Boot parent? What is the usage of that one? Yeah, Spring Boot parent. So
yeah, startup parent, it will need yeah, those things uh, provide Spring Boot, it's create an IFC container, and normally it works as a it helps in working as a Spring Boot. Yeah, that's how
Okay.
works.
Can you list out some Spring Boot starter? What are the starters you have used in your projects? Many starters is there. So can you list out few?
Yeah, we are using, but like,
Your voice breaking, ma.
yeah. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Now can able to hear. Can you talk about
Yeah,
closely? Yeah,
Spring that yeah, we have used lots of starter,
yeah.
but like basically we starter web starter is there,
Okay.
Spring Boot security starter is there,
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
and yeah, and lots of dependencies we have used,
Okay.
but presently not able to use
Okay.
actually because yeah, we are just copy pasting from the ambient repository whatever we need. Actually, it's there from the previously only.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, fine. Then how did you handle exception in your Spring Boot application? Any specific annotation is there?
So there, like we have used custom exceptions in
Okay.
our project. But like we have used normal flows and types. But in case of Spring Boot, if we want to handle, so we can use the at the rate controller advice and like at the rate exception handler in
Okay.
that particular method. So by using those annotations, we can handle them.
Okay. So how did you connect your Spring Boot applications into through database? So how did you configure? You know which database you have configured into your application? Can you tell me?
We have used database.
Your voice breaking again. Sorry, I don't know your end or my end.
Are you able to listen
Yeah, yeah.
now?
Now I can able to listen. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm speaking a bit slow. I'm
Oh,
not feeling well, so that's it.
okay, okay, okay. But here is
Yeah.
very low. Yeah. Good. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was saying about database. So
Okay.
there we have used Redis for catching the things,
Okay.
but we have not used the database. Whereas in catching, we are holding the instances and other stuff.
Okay.
And there, Watson Assistant is there in IBM Cloud.
Okay.
There we this is a live chatbot. So basically, when you are giving some input in one portal and you want to get some output,
Okay.
so like this, that is a chatbot we have created for the healthcare domain.
Okay.
So when we are providing some input, it's going to the as a Spring Boot flow. Then it's getting the request is going to the a virtual controller that is a like a IBM Cloud Watson Assistant. Then it's giving us the output through those nodes. It taking the those inputs, and wherever those input is matching, it's providing us the data. There we have maintained whole one by one node Watson Assistant.
Okay. Okay. So fine. So what is the usage of response entity?
Okay. Response entity basically it will provide us the response, whatever in which way we want the response, or like whatever the in object type also we want,
Okay.
like employees response entity if we want. So like that, it provides us the response entity in the output. So because of that, we use that response entity.
Okay. Okay. So what is the usage of at component scan annotation?
For scanning, we are using, for example, I want to exclude some package.
Okay.
There we can use exclude also.
Okay. Okay. So have you used Spring Boot profiles? So what is the usage?
Yeah, profiles we have used obviously because for prod and SIT, all those things.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, but here I have not seen the configurations of prod and SIT, how they.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not involved. I was involved, but I didn't check the profile stuffs and all.
Okay.
Yes, I implemented the code, whatever the user requirement I got,
Okay.
and then did the code, and then like in production, in INT or in SIT, whatever the code is going, then I used to check the things whether it is working properly or not. If we are getting any defects or bugs we are getting, it is coming in my name. Then I was fixing the things by debugging it and all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if we have for exception handling, basically, we have used the strikers and all those things and custom exception. And even we have used loggers. So because of that loggers also, we are if any bug fix, we are getting any bugs. So those log by using that log files, we are able to handle those things.
Okay. Okay. So you have completed your application like Spring Boot application. How did you monitor your application, like either it is run or disconnected? Then how did you watch?
So basically, we can do that. So which one is up and which one is down? We can
Okay.
check.
Yeah. Voice breaking.
Are you? Yeah, I was saying like we can create one class for Eureka service registry,
Okay.
and we can use annotations Eureka enable Eureka service and enable client Eureka service. So, and we can see which is up and which is down for monitoring stuff.
Okay.
And yeah,
Okay.
we can use third party tools also.
Okay.
So many third party tools are also available.
Okay. So, are you work any like message transfer system like JMS, Kafka, like that?
Uh,
Smita? Smita?
we have to create stream. Hello, are you
Breaking.
able to hear me?
Yeah, can.
Maybe network issues is there. That's why I guess
Okay.
this is
Okay.
happening.
Okay. Give a minute. I will check my network also. Maybe. Give a
Yeah,
minute.
my network is fine. Okay?
Okay. Okay. I will check my end. Wait. Give a minute.
Yeah, yeah. So I was saying like we can use Eureka Service Registry
Okay.
to monitor the thing. There it will we can create particular class. Then we can use annotation Eureka Service Registry and
Okay.
all those things.
Okay.
And there we can it will create like a dashboard which service is down, which is up. It will show the things.
Okay.
So
Okay. So I was asked earlier, like, are you using any messaging system like JMS, Kafka?
excuse me. Yeah. So
Okay.
we can use Kafka or like send the messages. And even if we are using AWS, there for messaging, I'm saying their SNS services there we can use. And for TIPCO messaging queue also there, producer consumer is available in TIPCO JMS.
Okay.
There also we can use that one. And Kafka normally for streaming purposes we can use. This is very good thing. Like in Netflix also they are using.
Okay.
So we can what we can do, we can create stream builder objects, and by using that we can create Kafka streamings and all.
Okay. Okay. So, what is the difference between a REST controller and controller?
So at the rate controller, normally at the rate controller is it will help to transfer the request to the particular classes got mapping.
Okay.
So and at the rate REST controller is a particular it will it is a web controller. It will take it as a web controller,
Okay.
and it will it has a combination of at the rate configuration and like at the request body. So yeah.
Okay.
controller and request body. So these are the combination of REST controller.
Okay.
So it will take that particular class as a web class or web controller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. So now coming to move to like database related questions. So we have many starters. I worked Spring Boot Data JPA.
I have worked, but not in this in IBM. I have not worked.
Okay, fine.
Try to give it research.
But we need entity classes, right? Then which ORM you are work? Because we have ORM it's many things like JPA, Hibernate. Which one you said? I think Hibernate you have experience, right?
No, Hibernate, I know. Even JPA also I know.
Okay.
But I have used so many, like 2 to 3 years back. But yes, I remember the things.
Okay.
Like in Hibernate, like it's a ORM framework.
Okay.
So if we are using Hibernate, so like we have to create one entity classes. Then S2 database dependencies is there for creating S2. S2 console it will get created, and it's very easy to configure and all in application.properties. We can mention, we can configure the things. And if we are using Hibernate, there is a feature like we can use any database, MySQL database, or like any other database also we are using. We can configure the things, and their inbuilt is HQL Hibernate query language it's used. And if we are using annotation like query, native query, and those things, if we are using specific annotations, we can create one SQL file in that, and we can write our query. You can, we can write our queries or stored procedures, whatever, and it will execute the things for different SQL stuffs. And if we, and then for entity classes and all, there we have to mention @ID, @entity, and @generator value, like for primary key, mentioning it as a primary key. So these are the for table and columns also there in entity class we can mention the things. So like this wise we can use Hibernate actually. And and first Spring Data JPA, it's very easy to enter than Hibernate. And Spring Data JPA, if we are using, we have to create one interface, and we have to implement that. Extend that with CRUD repository, or implement that by JPA repository. So it has some various methods like find all and find by number. All these things, methods are inbuilt, methods are there. By using that, we can query the things. Yeah, in Spring Data JPA.
Okay. So, are you worked any like pagination part, like using JP or Hibernate? So, suppose front end users ask to 10 records required to get the values, then how did you achieve this logic?
Yeah, I have did that one. I remember.
Yeah, go ahead.
How I have did this one properly. Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead, Smita.
Yeah, as I told, I have did this one, but now I am unable to remember the thing, like how I have did.
Okay. Because JPA backend, I'm asking.
Criteria query we have to use.
Okay.
By using that we can. Hello.
Yeah, I think again breaking. Yeah, wait, I will check my end. Yeah.
So I was saying like pagination I did, but I properly don't like now I don't remember exactly what I did actually.
Because
long back I did.
In JPA and Hibernate provides some.
We are using some criteria.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there we are using some criteria using criteria annotation, I guess. I don't remember exactly actually.
Okay. Fine. So in Hibernate, so what is that HBM to DDL? What is that property? Why we are using that HBM to DDL?
I I guess some dialect properties. This one is for HBM. No. For HBM2 DDL for data. For update or insert whatever we want to do, I guess we have to give the properties in that update or some HBM2.DDL, and there we have to mention updates
Yeah.
in application. Right?
Yeah, good. So, you know dialect. So, why we are using dialect? So, what is the advantage of that?
And if we are using any database like which driver we are using, JDBC, ODBC, or MySQL, those things I guess we are mentioning.
Okay. So, in Hibernate, so what is the difference between update and merge method? So, what is the difference?
Update method, it will update the things.
Okay.
Match method.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So in the ORM, it's a good one. Like we have a relationship with like one to one, many to many. So how did you communicate with like many to many relationships? Can you give me an example?
No, I forgot. That's a high level thing.
Okay. Because parent and child combination required. At least you guys should give at least many to one. You don't know idea about.
Direct application by using many to one is there.
Okay.
And like we can provide the lazy loading and like the loading using
Okay.
that one is fine, but don't remember exactly.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So, what's the difference between a get and load method?
Method will save the things
Okay.
and get method will we can face the things actually.
You said like criteria query. So, can you list out some method like in between method? You remember anything? Like, okay, it's okay, fine. So, anyway. Okay, coming to the next microservices. So, what is the API gateway?
Okay, so API so API gateway we can transfer the request from API gateway when it get the request. So because of that we are using.
Okay. What is the service discovery?
So service discovery, like there, if we are using that, then we can monitor for registry the applications. We need that. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can able to hear.
Yeah. So for register our applications, we need the service registry.
Okay. Fine. Suppose earlier we used monolith architecture. Now we use microservice architecture. So each services run on different port. Suppose in between some of the services down or failure. So what happen? It is affect any product level services. It will be affect anything or.
Okay, so they are in microservices.
Yeah.
Because of that purpose only we are using, so that it will not affect the other services.
Okay.
But if we are joining and we are deploying an application, finally, as we are building different application, but finally we are building into one application and it's running. So there we can use a circuit breaker pattern, so that if it will fail one service, also other will not fail.
Okay.
So by using that Hystrix annotation, we can do that.
Okay. So coming to security part, then so how did you authenticate like login users, like username and password? How did you authenticate users? So front-end users obviously asked some token. Then how did you write the logic? So can you tell me?
Okay. So in Spring Boot, normally we have Spring Boot security started dependency.
Okay.
So if you have some, for example, you have wrote a start operation, and I have that particular URL. I will click that particular URL. It will give me output data. I will get the output. It's working properly. But there is no like login page for credentials by username and password. It's not there. So for that, I have to use Spring Boot Security Snapper in form.xml file. After using that dependency, then automatically when I will click that again, I will click that particular URL. It will load one login page. There it will ask for username and password.
Okay.
But this thing we are not so there how we can get then while running the things it will generate one password.
Okay.
So we have to provide that password. If we want to customize it, we in application.properties file we can write user and our own customization code also we can write.
Okay.
By implementing web security adapter something was there in there configure method is there, we can configure the things. But by using this, it provides a way to authenticate and for authorization. For customize authorization also we can provide it. But this is not the proper way in real time scenario because every time we have to provide our username password, right? So what is then JWT came. So there in case of JWT, their password encoder is there. It will take the header payload and other stuffs, and it will create a JWT token, JWT token, and that particular token we can give everywhere. Like in, for example, when we are pushing our code into the GitHub, there we are providing some token, then it accepting that particular password as a token, and then it is pushing our code. Okay. So likewise, we can provide a particular token, and we can provide the expiration date in our code for those tokens and all. And like that, it will use. We can use it.
Yeah, good. So how did you authenticate? Like restricted some user menus, like front-end users asked some menus. Admin have some menus required. So user role have some menus. Then how did you authenticate role level authentication? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So there also we can implementing a web security adapter. This is the particular class. We can implement that, and there configure and authorized methods are there. There we can write our custom code for authorization. Like for example, for role like admin, we don't want that particular file, or for some user, we don't want that particular file to access. So we can provide authorization code there to not to get access to that particular thing. Yeah, sorry. So we can do that by using this kind of stuff. We can do for authorization and authentication.
Yeah, fine. So finally come to Java. So we covered almost framework. Okay. So now Java. So what is the current version you are working?
So in my project, actually, we have versions. We are updated versions only. We are working on.
Okay. Okay.
11, not 12, whatever the updated one we are working on. Okay. But basically, we have used Java 1.5, 1.6 like that. Okay. But in some cases, we have used 1.8 wherever needed. So okay. Likewise.
Yeah. You aware of any latest features in Java 11?
No, 11 I don't.
Okay. So what is Java 8? Can you list out some features Java 8?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So it's 1.8, like first default and starting methods are there in interface. Okay. So why them? Because previously in interface all are abstract methods, abstract panel methods, and compulsory we have to implement in our codes. So it's very hectic to maintain without any reason we are implementing those things. So because of that, default and static came. Okay. So whenever we need whatever, like for example in predicate. Okay. There one functional interface, and even functional interface is also there. Okay. This feature it came in 1.8. Okay. So there one functional interface is there, and method is there, and other some static and default methods we will also get. So like functional interface is there, apply method is test method is there. So whenever we want to, it will return a boolean one, and whenever we want to check something, we can write the code in just in 2 lines. And we will get our output by in the test option. We can write the code and all when we will get the output. So there we lambda function is also there. So we can use lambda in everywhere, like in streams we can use, in optional we can use, in predicate we can use. we can implement our code in just 1 to 2 lines. Normally, in our code, what we are using, we are providing the name and like all the things. But here in Lambda, we are just providing the inputs and one arrow, and whatever the body part will be there, we are giving that.
Okay.
So this is beauty of Lambda. And then, yeah, as I told in streams, there, for example, you want to filter something. Like I want to filter one employee data whose age is greater than 25 or something kind of this.
Okay.
So we can write it like streams dot filter, and we can write one list of arrays in stream dot off, and we can put map. We can use like we can combine the list of arrays by using the flat map. For example, yeah, like there's so many things are there.
Okay. Okay. So one logical questions. Okay. So we have employee list. Okay, a number of users in the list, array list. So each employee objects contains like password, role name, like that. So I want to group by role name from the array list values. So how did you write the logic?
You want to sort it. You want to sort the
Not
thing.
sort, group by role name. We have like for example 100 users in the list. Okay, so per 10 users on role name like group manager, another 10 for software engineer. So another I want to sort it out finally 10 objects in the group by like all the employee list by role name. This is not sorting, group by. Yeah, using Java 8, it is there. Just I'm checking with some logic. So, okay.
Remember it.
Okay, fine. So one more logic. Okay, so how did you find like duplicate? We have employee list. Then how did you find like duplicate users in the list? Find a duplicate users only. So, for example, Sumita, two Sumita is there in the employee list. Then how did you find?
At least. Methods are
Yeah, you can use any like, I will give you clue also. You can use any like Java 8 or existing one also. Java 1.5 also available, 1.8 also simplified the code.
so we can put a count and like whichever like we can write a code for like for how many times one is occurring,
Okay.
and we can print that particular things. We can put a count and we will get it. In HasMap, like we will put the things and like whatever the count are there, and if we are using HasMap also, I mean set also, there it will give only the it will give only the like unique things. But there we are not going to get the like get our output. But yes, if we will put a counter one, we will get like it will give the count like whatever which one is coming 2 times. We can check it and it will get.
Okay. So, okay, fine. So finally, you developed one complete Spring Boot application. So have you involved a deployment part?
Yeah.
Okay. Then how did you deploy the which environment
So
like Azure or AWS?
we are using Open Redshift.
Sorry, come again.
Open Redshift.
Open Redshift. Okay, fine. So
Yeah.
So how did you maintain code quality?
So code quality actually, our chief architect they have provided. IBM has some code of conduct rules, so they are not code of conduct exactly. So they have maintained one standard like how our codes should be formatted and all those things.
Okay.
So we have those lists, and by using that, we are
Okay.
formatting our code actually according to that.
Okay. Are you used SonarLint or SonarQube? So,
So now, yeah, I have idea on that. I have used previously, but not.
okay. Okay. So, are you worked any like test cases like JUnit, TestNG, Mockito, anything? Any one of that?
Yeah, I have idea on mocking. And JUnit test cases also we have right. And in this project, we have used the test scripts actually. For input and output, we have maintained one the test script for our own testing also, and we have referred to that state, and it's testing. We are checking on the input and output so that we will not miss anything. So by using that test scripts, we have checked actually.
So here you have write the test cases using like service classes or service implementation classes. So which class you have to monitor the unit test cases? Normally we write like implementation or service classes. We don't want to controller like that. We don't want. Then which classes you are writing?
We are writing services. We are implementing this, and we are providing FAI using at the rate test annotation, and we are just checking by using asset dot equals, and we are providing our like if it's greater than size we are mentioning sometimes, and whatever the things we want to check, we are providing that in the condition.
So which tool you are using, like Maven or and like that?
Marvel only we are using.
Okay, good. So suppose I want to skip test cases. So what is the command?
Skip test cases.
Yeah. Because in the production environment we don't want to test cases. So that at a time we should try skip the test cases. Then what is the command?
In Spring Boot, actually, one skip test case option is there.
Okay.
We can check mark that.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So okay, so I covered almost things. Okay. So I will give feedback to Himanshi. Maybe she will contact with you. Okay. So you want to ask anything?
No queries from me.
Thanks for your time. Okay, I will give feedback to Himanshi. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you are not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. Keep watching and happy learning.